Knowing who's making decisions to buy your thing and who's influencing those decisions, who's blocking those decisions, etc., and knowing what kind of companies they are at and how those companies think and act, and then building a strategy to reach exactly those individuals at exactly those companies in exactly the way they want to be reached is, of course, the hallmark of an efficient growth program. Now, most companies can tell you their total addressable market, their TAM, especially if they're raising funds, right? And many can also tell you their ideal client profile, their ICP. But in most cases, they build the wrong ICP or at least an incomplete ICP. And what they totally miss is that there are actually several layers deeper than an ICP that matter just as much as a solid ICP does. But if you miss the mark on your ICP, then each new layer of audience slicing will be exponentially wrong. So that's why we're going to spend a few videos this week talking about building a great audience definition. So, what makes up a great audience? Well, I want to take a look here. As we mentioned a bit ago, total addressable market. This is essentially, this is defining everybody who could possibly potentially buy your product. Not people that likely would, not people that really want it. If you're selling accounting software, this is every company that uses accounting software. It is almost meaningless, and I think it's silly that it's used for really almost anything these days. The next layer down is total relevant market. This defines the companies that are most likely to be good targets for what you have to offer. This is what is driven and defined by your ideal client profile. This is where your ideal client profile lives. And because by definition, these are companies that are relevant based off of what you have found to be the kinds of companies that like to do business with you, that like the kind of product that you sell and like the specific product that you sell and the way that it works and everything. But then you go a layer deeper than that. Not everybody who is in your relevant market is going to be targeted, nor should they be. And so a segment, a piece of your total relevant market will be formalized into your target account list. There are a lot of reasons to put companies on a target account list. There's sales input, there's marketing input, there's investor input. There's a lot of things that go into that. But it's not everybody that matches your ICP. It's those companies that match your ICP at least. And then there's something else that makes them beneficial. And we're going to talk this week about some reasons that companies might end up on your target account list. But then your target account list gets broken down a little bit further, where you have target account list tiers. Now, the different tiers on your target account list essentially identify how valuable each account is. Specifically, how much money you're willing to invest to try to win that account. And a tier 1 account is you're going to be willing to spend tens of thousands of dollars maybe to close that account. Whereas a tier 4 account, maybe you're only willing to spend a couple $1,000s to close that account. So splitting accounts into different tiers helps you to understand which accounts should be in your one-to-many play that is very, very lightly personalized, and your one-to-one play that is very highly personalized. But then within your tiers, you're going to segment even further. Now, we can get super academic about this and talk about whether a segment belongs here, if it belongs up underneath total relevant market or somewhere else. But I put it here, and this is where we oftentimes think about it, because this is where, while segment certainly might, like industry segment, for instance, might play into your ICP. Once you get down here, this is where you're going to start segmenting that audience based off of different interest dimensions. So this could be different industries, different use cases. This could be different sizes of companies. Not always the same thing that's driving your tiers, right? A large company and a small company could both be worth the same amount to you, but based off of being different sizes or in different industries, you might talk to them in slightly different ways. So this is messaging segmentation that is relevant to messaging and how you are engaging with and approaching those accounts. And then within an actual account, you're going to be talking to buying committees. Any one account could have multiple buying committees. There might be multiple groups that are purchasing your product or one of your products to solve a specific problem, and there might be others that would purchase it to solve a different problem. And so you want to be thinking about buying committees. Now, even if you're only selling one product that only solves one kind of problem, you still want to be thinking about all the individuals at the account that have any sway in the decision-making process as a single buying committee. You want to engage them as a buying committee and think about their buyer's journey as a buying committee. But not everybody on the buying committee is the same. You're going to have different personas on that buying committee. Here we're using persona a little bit differently than we did back in the days of MQL and lead generation and things, where different personas might represent completely different kinds of companies and different use cases. Well, here what we're saying is a persona is essentially a role on the buying committee. You could have a financial persona, who's the person who really cares about optimizing company financials using your product. You might have a technical persona who is really interested in how your product fits into the rest of the ecosystem and how secure it is and things like that. You're going to have multiple personas on your buying committee. But within that persona, you're going to have at least one individual. Now, you might have one individual that matches multiple personas. In a lot of cases, though, you're going to have one persona that matches multiple individuals. So you might have your technical persona, you might have actually 3 individuals who match that. So this isn't always a one-to-one conversation. So when you look at this on the screen, you can see that there are many different layers of slicing your audience. But at the core of the entire exercise are individuals. And so one of our core tenets here at ID is that you want to be talking to individuals at a human level, talking about human concerns that they as individuals are concerned about, and really understanding and appreciating the things that are keeping them up at night. What are their pillow talk problems? What are they most concerned about? What are their ambitions, their goals, their fears? And then everything expands from there. So we're going to spend the rest of this week diving into audience definition. Tomorrow we're going to talk specifically about ICP, how to make a really great ICP. And then we're going to talk the rest of the week after that about a couple of things that make ICP, that can make your ICP especially good. One thing in particular called exegraphics, it's like psychographics for individuals, but it's for companies. How do companies think? How do companies operate? There are categories of those things, just like you could have an ambitious person. You might have an early adopter of new technology as a company characteristic. Then we're going to look at event signals. So what are the kinds of things that happen at companies that might make them more or less likely to purchase your product, that might change what segment they are in, or maybe even what target account list tier they are in. But certainly it's going to impact the buying committee and their segmentation. And then we're going to look at intent. So we're going to look at how where intent fits into this. Oftentimes intent is seen as a core data point in determining who should be on your target account list. We generally disagree with that approach, and we're going to talk about why and where we can use intent instead. So it's going to be a great week. Thanks for watching, and tune in tomorrow.